Welcome to September's Leetcode Challenge. Today's problem is best time to buy and sell stock. Say you have an array for which the ith element is the price of a given stock on day I. If you are only permitted to complete at most one transaction, design an algorithm to find the maximum profit. Note that cannot sell a stock before you buy one, so that makes sense. Say we're given this input here. We could personally tell that the max profit is going to be 5 because we can buy it at 1 and then sell it at 6. This is the minimum price that we could buy at, and the max price that comes afterward would be 6, so we can make 5 here. We do have a price of 7, but since there's no numbers that come before that, we can't really make any profit off that. We can't buy 1 and go back in time and sell at 7, right? So that intuitively gives us an idea. We could just find the minimum price and calculate how much profit we can make from that point on and just store that max profit and return that, right? So to do that, we could just have two variables. We'll start with min, and the very first one would be price is 0 because that's the very first price. That's the minimum price that we can buy at, right? And max profit would just be 0 at first. Now we take p in prices from the second element on, since the first element doesn't matter at this point, and we calculate our max profit. Our max profit would be the max between max profit or the price currently and the minimum price that we could have bought at. Then make sure to calculate our minimum price, get the min between min and p. Then we can just return that max profit. And one edge case here, if it's an empty list, if not prices, we can return 0. So this totally works, totally fine answer. But let's try to expand and think of a more broad solution, simply because this is how like you and I would solve it, a human might solve it, but how about a computer? What other algorithms we can think of? And one algorithm that exists is Caden's algorithm, right? And if you call with Caden's algorithm, what we're basically doing is kind of a greedy method where we go through each price and we ask ourselves, can we forget about everything that came before? Can we just start over? So what we're going to do is at every single price, calculate the amount of profit that we can be making. And we'll build upon the previous current max, the current profit anyway, that we've been building so far. And if any time it is less than 0, we essentially start over and say, you know what, we'll start at this price instead and buy here and try to see how much profit we can make incrementally. And we'll also have a global max that will store the global max that we can make for the entire array. So to do that, we could have two variables. We'll start with I guess we'll call it current max, and we'll have the global max. And both of these will be 0. Now what we're going to do is say for I in range of start at the second element to the length of prices, we're going to first check, okay, what's the current max amount that we can make? And that's going to be the max of cur max, since we're building this incrementally, and the prices I minus the previous price, minus prices I minus 1. Now at any point, if this goes below 0, we want to start over. We want to say, you know what, this current max is done. We want to start buying at this price instead. So we can have 0 here. That's going to reinitiate this current max into 0 as if it ever goes negative. Now we have our global max. We'll say, all right, just get the max between these. Get the max between global max and current max. And finally, just return the global max. Now this works because it's really the same idea, except we're just building up on this array to say that, okay, we start with 1, we can make a profit of 4. So that's going to be the max at this point. Here we'll make a profit of 2, so we'll just keep that 4, but we still need this minimum amount that we stored, right? And we'll just continue, that's 5. And if at any point we find that, oh, you know what, this profit's actually negative, we're going to start over to calculate our current max. That's kind of, it's almost like taking a pointer and reinitializing that at that point. Say, okay, we're going to start buying here and see how much profit we can make. Now this gives you the advantage of calculating differences instead, rather than the raw prices. But that's really about it. Time complexity wise, they'd be the same. They'd be O of n. And yeah, that's it. So there's lots of variations to this problem. I think I will go through them eventually. But until then, Thanks for watching my channel, and remember, do not trust me, I know nothing.